Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh to all my viewers out there. As usual, Allah's blessing to every one of us. I would like to continue from where I stopped at musculoskeletal disorder, that is the disease of the bones. And I started discussing, I got to adolescent, adult stage, and now I'm moving to the geriatric stage. At this stage, the bone mass is now losing. That is what we call sarcopenia. It's losing. All the minerals stored are no more stored. They are losing, can be lost in urine, can be lost in the feces or through sweat, even through the saliva. So as they are lost, we know they can't store it anymore. At this age, all we do is to increase their calcium intake. So the calcium intake of the geriatrics, the elderly people, 50 years, 70 years and above, is increased to 1,300 milligram of calcium and then 20 microgram of vitamin D to match it up and give the calcium proper absorption into the bone. Otherwise, the elderly person will start developing sarcopenia. And then, apart from increasing the calcium, we also place them on protein intake. That's why at this stage, they are no more growing, but they need protein to keep building up the bones. The protein they take this time around is 0.8 gram of protein. It's not up to 1 gram of protein. 0.8 gram of protein per that elderly person body weight. If the person weighs 60 kilograms of weight, and then that means we multiply 60 kg by 0.8 to give us the amount of protein needed for that elderly person to maintain the bone and other system in its body. And then we top it up with the increment of this calcium and vitamin D so that the person will not develop one of these musculoskeletal disorder, which I say sarcopenia is when it is demoralizing, it's losing bone mass. When I say bone mass, I told you at the age of 30, it comes to a peak, and at the age from 35, it begins to lose the strength. And then because these minerals, calcium and vitamin D are no more stored, especially calcium, they are lost. So that's how we increase them. So this can be referred to a disease called osteoporosis. Osteoporosis is porosity. When something is porous, the holes between them become enlargement, that it is no more intact, making the bones to become porous and very easy to fracture, very easy to get broken. They can't stand straight, they easily fall down, they feel sharp pain. So, or it can lead to what we call osteomalacia. Osteomalacia is another type of disease of the skeleton that it is not porous, but the bone is very weak. The bone is weak and it's very, very soft that it can easily get broken. Or osteoporosis and osteomalacia make the elderly people to begin to lose shape. You see an elderly woman having open leg, you see an elderly man straight bending because the bones are no more storing calcium. So apart from osteoporosis and osteomalacia, we call there are arthritis. Arthritis can be stepped into 3 groups. We have osteoarthritis, which is pain between all the joints, because it is the tendons and the muscles that are affected due to lack of calcium and enough vitamin D. So these pains become so severe that it makes them, deprive them from carrying out their daily activities. And from there, it could develop to what we call rheumatoid arthritis. Rheumatoid arthritis is pain within the joint too, but it has fluid in it. This fluid can only be drained out by specialists in the hospital that really know their work. They'll drain it out, and then dietitians will place them on diet to prevent further inflammation of the joint, number 1, to prevent further porosity of the bones or weakness of the bone by increasing their calcium intake and vitamin D intake to boost their the strength of the bones. So as we continue like this to the elderly people, we begin to see that their bones are changing, and then we place them on this high calcium diet, high vitamin D and protein diet. There's another kind of musculoskeletal disease among the elderly which is called gout. Gout is a little bit different because at this stage, gout is the accumulation of what we call uric acid. Uric acid are found in some of our food that have purine, and when you eat excess of this food, it accumulates uric acid within the joints and it spreads them. That is why we don't quickly judge and begin to prescribe meal or diet. We ask them to go for proper diagnosis to see if is it gout, is it rheumatoid arthritis, or is it osteoarthritis, is it osteomalacia, osteoporosis. Then when we know one of it, then we know the amount of calcium to be given, vitamin D, and how we place them. If it is gout, then we cut tough food that are very high in purine, not to accumulate uric acid, like meat. It's very high in purine, red meat, beef. So we tell them not to eat it again. We can exchange with fish and other type of protein product for them to get their protein. It's not necessary they should eat that meat. So people with gout should avoid food that are very high in purine, not to accumulate uric acid. Now, after planning all this for the elderly person, we come to find out that it is more common among women. Women through their menopause stage, women who are already old and they are no more producing an hormone, what we call estrogen. This estrogen, when a lady is young, help to produce compounds that help to keep the bones very strong. So by the time that this compound estroblast is no more or is too low, when estrogen is not produced, then the bones begin to get weak. That is why women experience more pains in bones than the men at their later stage in life. I will need to stop here and I'll continue in my next video how we combine diets together to make up the calcium intake, because there are some food that doctors or some medical personnel, including dietitians, they tell elderly people eat lots of fruits and vegetables. No, some fruits are not allowed in musculoskeletal disorder. Watch me in my next video when I will discuss in detail. Thank you very much. Still your dietitian, Aisha to Yusuf. Aisha not to die. Please don't forget to subscribe, to share and like. Thank you.